What is one thing you're good at that people don't expect?
Archery. I'm legally blind. I'm a middle-aged black woman who is pretty good at painting miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu.
Basketball. I'm white, old, out of shape and not very tall. But when I need to I can still get my tanker truck of a body moving fast enough. I still have the muscle memory of my first 25 years where I shot 1,000s of jumpers a week, and my brain still understands how to make space and see the right passing angles and play good position defense. I always get a thrill out of surprising people when I occasionally lace them up now.
I'm a 65-year-old guy. I engrave and paint Easter eggs as a hobby. https://imgur.com/Kazuya75 https://imgur.com/Kazuya75 https://imgur.com/dfif https://imgur.com/dfif
Identifying marine life. As a live audio engineer, people in my industry are hardly ever near aquariums or water. But I worked at the New England Aquarium for over 2 years, and developed a knack for spotting fish and other marine animals I used to work with.
I'm a 6 feet 6 inches dude with a beard who can crochet a mean baby blanket.
I'm a quiet person by nature. Introverted, solitary, and generally speaking, the exact opposite of outgoing, extroverted. However, I have absolutely zero problem speaking or performing in front of crowds. I've sung and performed on stage in front of tens of thousands of people. Once you've done that, you are no longer intimidated by public speaking. For since I was a little kid I've always been able to roll my belly muscles like a belly dancer does. Now that I'm old and fat, it isn't something I show off, but I can still do it.
Sewing and knitting. I'm a 6 feet 1 inch bearded guy, but people assume I'm mansplaining when I go into sewing stores with my wife to teach her about different feet or how to lay out a quilt. My nickname was Bobbin in high school.
Because I'm short, people were for some reason shocked that I did all the work on flipping several homes that I lived in. I finally asked someone, why can't a short guy have carpentry skills? He replied that wasn't it and was surprised I had the strength to do some of the work.
Viola. I think it's partially because I'm black and mostly listen to rap, but I think it's also because no one plays viola.
Creative writing. Nobody expects the physicist to also be a professional playwright.
As a 37-year-old tattooed male I can sew pretty well. I don't think anybody knows that, family or friends.
Everyone that knows me drastically underestimates my ability to procrastinate.
My co-workers were quite surprised at a party one night when my quiet pasty self decided to entertain them by flawlessly rapping through one of Eminem's old albums. One girl still calls me Slim Shady.
Art stuff. I made a card for my boss and she came out like I didn't know you could draw. I thought to myself, I guess that makes sense because we work in an office and how many opportunities do you have to show off any artistic ability? But I always thought I came across as a weird artsy type, but I guess not.
Eating large amounts of food. I'm 5'10" and about 170 pounds. I can eat way more than most people. I can finish a large pizza myself no problem. 4 burgers at Wendy's is a normal order. I've gone to all-you-can-eat pasta places and had 8 bowls of pasta. This is without like trying to eat a lot. Stupid thing, I can lift very heavy stuff as being female even though not looking like a bodybuilder.
Surprisingly knowledgeable about random animal facts and giving out relationship advice despite me being forever single.
Hiding the body, I can lie. They still think I am the most useless human when it comes to lying, and that's what I want them to think.
I mean, I don't know if this counts, but piano. The reason no one knows though is because I don't tell anyone.
I'm actually really good at remembering things despite me being a stoner.
Acquiring goods quickly and often for very cheap. Just last week a friend mentioned she wanted a couch so that guests would have a place to sleep. Was at another friend's house the day after helping him change his oil. He lamented that now he just needed to get one of 2 big-ass couches out of his living room. I asked the price and he said free if it was quick and easy. Took a picture and confirmed with friend 1 that she liked it. Borrowed my dad's truck the next day and delivered the following day. 5 days from the time she offhandedly mentioned wanting one, I was presented with the perfect solution as long as I did the work and jumped in with both feet and no hesitation. It fit perfectly in my dad's truck in her living room.
Finding things out. People assume that because it looks like I'm zoned out means I'm not listening, so it's pretty easy to put the pieces together after eavesdropping.
My Louis Armstrong impression, mom of 4 here. I'm pretty good at and love building things like furniture, working on cars, etc. I helped my dad a lot with mechanical and building things starting at around 3 years old. I have my own power tools. Most of our power tools in our home belong to me, not my husband. I also enjoy and take pride in mowing our lawn,
knitting, crochet and making balloon animals. No one expects you to knit when you're a guy, and no one expects you to make balloon animals, period.
I am a great dancer. I'm quiet and not very good looking, and people always think I am very awkward because of that. All of my friends are always amazed the first time they see me at a party.
I'm really into needle felting, painting with wool. People always seem surprised that I'm a girl in her mid-20s and not an old lady.
The Spanish Inquisition.
Reversing most vehicles and trailers. I used to be in the military, driving a large range of trucks and earthwork equipment so good and getting them into odd places and out again, speaking Chinese. I'm half Chinese, but one really tell because of my brown hair and regular sized eyes. I just overall look very American. Whenever I speak Chinese, people turn to stare at me and I've gotten used to it.
Singing. No one expects the deaf girl to be able to sing at all, let alone well. I love flaunting my years of choir experience. Smile.
Pretending that I'm happy.
I'm naturally artistic. I just don't care to be, nor do I talk about it, nor have I invested in it. I just liked drawing by myself as a kid. Going into high school, they offered to put me in their most advanced art class coming in as a freshman, and I turned it down, because I just wasn't interested. I did buy a bunch of painting supplies this weekend though, because I recently decided want to begin using that talent for something.
I'm a quiet guy who doesn't talk much, but I can sing really well.
I'm really good at climbing, but people assume I'm too big to be good at it cause I can't lose my stomach.
I'm in perfect control of my body. Just like I am with my voice. I can go from flaccid to erect at a moment's notice.
Cooking meat. I'm vegetarian and have been since I was 6. My partner is not vegetarian and he raves to everyone about my cooking.
Math. My coworkers give me the weirdest look when I just do simple arithmetic without a calculator.
Talking, listening, and Tetris. I'm like 5'11", 240 pounds, and sometimes people are afraid of me when I first meet them, and then I open my mouth and talk and eventually they think I'm basically a teddy bear, and then they feel comfortable telling me a lot of things. Also, I tell people I'm okay at Tetris and then they want to play against me and I break out the 4 wide and then they never want to again.
Penmanship. I'm a guy.
Doing the same stupid decision over and over again. Winning games. I don't even know how or why, but I tend to win a lot when playing games with people. I always warn my opponents beforehand, but they never believe me. I have used the "I told you so" too many times now.
Giving emotional support. I spend most of my time with friends telling dark or at least just mildly off-putting jokes, and I tend to act like I don't care about anything. But if you come to me with a problem, I listen fully and can get pretty emotional.
I can remember useless things. Easily forget things people just said to me. But then I can remember 250 decimals of pi, for example.
I'm a professional artist and illustrator by trade and traditionally trained. Always been a non-athletic kid who spent his childhood playing video games and reading comics when it wasn't cool. I've forgotten more about football than most people will ever know. I'm really good at drawing.
25 years ago I was a pretty good golfer, single-digit handicap. I truly suck now. Once in a while I don't even break 100. But my body remembers a vestige of how to hit certain shots. Most rounds, while I'm out there stinking it up, I hit a few shots that make playing partners who don't know me do a double take, like, "Dude, how did you do that?"
I have a few, honestly. recalling useless information, but we joke that my memory takes 6-8 weeks to arrive. I can't remember conversations from 2 days ago, but I remember perfectly the day in 6th grade that I taught my boyfriend how to braid hair. Go figure. I'm also a really good singer, which most people don't know. A lot of people assume that since I've been a smoker for 10 years, I have been vaping instead for about 2 years now. I know, not entirely better, that my voice would be shot. Nope. I won 2nd place in a nationwide creative writing contest when I was in 2nd grade, and have had 2 of my pieces, not from 2nd grade, though, used as examples in college courses. Even still, I'm resoundingly dumb on most occasions.
Math. I'm in the field of contemporary history, so it's kind of expected that I would hate math and love reading and writing. Well, I do like reading and writing, but I'm also good enough at math to have tutored it for 3 years during undergrad. People always give me the shocked Pikachu face when this somehow gets brought up.
I'm secretly one of the biggest geeks at my school, when it comes to indie games etc. But I also take piano, which is the unusual part. So naturally, when I'm bored in the class, I plug in my headphones and teach myself some video game soundtracks. I can play Megalovania and the Great Fairy theme at the drop of a hat. Just yesterday I played a theme for my friends and they were so surprised. LML.
Remembering useless facts. I'm a musical theater person who's also really good at maths. Often the two aren't associated with each other.
I do a pretty good George H.W. Bush impression. Nobody expects that. Of course, there aren't really any times when I get to do the impression anymore. It's not like he's that relevant anymore.
Painting and drawing very well. I'm a data scientist, software engineer, so it's usually a surprise to people.
I'm your stereotypical nerd at school, but I'm pretty decent at sprinting. I mean, not brag, but I've won the sprints every year in sports day.
Martial arts. I'm a skinny history nut that does clerical work for a living. So most of the time I spend necked up in books filing papers or some similar task. I also came in 3rd in a pretty prominent fighting competition in LA a few years back. Ended up getting knocked out of my last round when my opponent used an illegal kick, axe kick. Couldn't continue fighting, so the round went to him. Anyways, from time people start talking about fighting, martial arts etc., and I'll say, hey, I did that for a while, it was fun. I just get that, yeah sure you did, look, but that's okay because I know what I did and I'll just keep reading my books and practicing on my own. It did really upset me before though, and sometimes I wish I could hook a projector to my brain and show people some of the things I've done. Can't do that though, so I'll just keep being me. Maybe one day I'll fight again and be on TV. Who knows? Probably not. I like my books.
Lying. Now you don't know if I'm telling the truth.
I grow orchids quite well. I've been dubbed the orchid whisperer at work. I'm a 100% typical manly construction worker.
I can find the belly buttons by the 4th or 5th poke.
I'm good at giving a speech, which is surprising to most because I'm rather quiet. I'm not shy really, I'm just typically reserved and quiet. I'm no MLK Jr., but I can do so better than expected anyway.
I seem to be the only one in my whole family who is good at remembering people's names. Whenever referencing to someone they always ask me what their name is. At least I've showed some reliability in that field.
I can sing. Everyone seems surprised when they first hear me though. I guess I don't look like someone who can.
People always get surprised when I can project my voice, either when speaking or singing, because I'm tiny and shy.
5 feet 2 inches middle-aged mom who comes across very square. Until you put a bass in my hands and I am a funk machine, or a rock goddess, or a jazz beast. Upright or electric, I'm not picky. I sometimes do it as a sort of a party trick at school music fundraisers. I'm reasonably well known because of my work, volunteering in my city, which involves a fair amount of public speaking. So the chair will have me get up to thank all the community members who have turned out to support this important program, where any child can learn to play. In fact, Joey, lend me that bass for a second, and then the high school jazz ensemble, and I will throw down some extremely sizzling jazz. I only do it every 4 years or so when most of the parents have turned over. They think I'm just there to give the speech, or that the director will demonstrate early teaching methods they use with beginners. They do that a lot at these things, with me as the guinea pig, and they get hit with on Green Dolphin Street or jump in at the Woodside. It's great fun.
Rapping. I'm a 5'0" wide girl, being a disappointment.
I'm good at disappointing myself and those around me. Edit. Oh, if I meant it as a joke, sorry.
God, this is sad. I can't think of anything. I'm pretty okay at lots of things, but not really good at any one thing.
Cooking without recipe. Because I eat out a lot, people assume I can't cook. Source and inspiration: my mom's cooking, watching cooking shows, minding tastes and smells of meals cooked by other people.
I can still do the splits, both ways. I don't look athletic, nor am I flexible in general. I grunt when I stand up, but I can do the splits.
Nobody expects it because I'm not a dog, but I have a pretty good sense of smell when it comes to humans. One time at school, someone left their jacket in the assembly hall. After giving it a quick sniff without anybody noticing, I knew that it belonged to some girl from another year that I talked to maybe 2 or 3 times. When I got her the jacket, I had been right. Luckily she didn't ask me how I knew.
Apparently I could sing. I'm on the border of legally deaf. I read lips. Currently in a band with a friend in the country Brazil of all places. Was in a band years back too, as well as choir. I have a whole host of neuromuscular illnesses as well, but I've figured out how to adapt a bit and can kick ass in video games. I also soloed a dungeon on accident due to some of my illnesses randomly making me go blind. Made it through the dungeon on my own when my husband and teammate realized I wasn't behind them. Lol. I was fighting the boss most of that time and fighting my way down paths. They came right at the end of me killing the boss. I didn't know I did it alone until that moment. I had been spamming heal spells without needing to. This is in the past, I suppose, but I used to be well over 300 pounds for most of my life, actually. I lost more than 100 pounds, and have remained in good shape for a few years now, but when I was north of 300 pounds, I could still run, really /fast. It literally scared people because we'd be goofing around or something, and they'd run off, and I'd give chase. And they'd look behind themselves all nonchalantly expecting me to be lagging behind, but there'd be this 300+ pounds monstrosity closing in on them.
I worked in really custom car audio for over 20 years. I can walk into any venue and tell if speakers are out of phase or the audio is off in a really specific way. I don't work in the industry anymore. I had no one to learn from. I still can hear a sound setup and tell it is off. Basically everyone's car sounds like crap, you just never were taught why and had a credit card. Hint, if you spent $2,000 on a sound system you are barely scratching the surface. And if 20% of that wasn't on wiring, you aren't getting what you paid for. Edit, added stuff.
I can pretty much do whatever I want on a bike. I've doubled my size since I last rode seriously, but I was still a cat too. Wheelies forever, bunny hop over anything, cross dismounts and mounts. Looks like the mod that replaces Skyrim Dragons with Thomas the Tank Engine, but I can do it.
I can run for a very long time.
I'm a skinny little music and literature geek and I don't look at all like I'd be good at auto mechanics, but I am. It's amazing the change that comes over the guys at the repair shop once they realize you know what you're talking about. Many times I've had to take a car into the shop just because I lacked the tools to accomplish a job. I'll explain that I've already done A and B, but I don't have the tool to do C. The mechanic will look at me funny and say, "You did that?" I'll say yes, and then their attitude changes and they treat me as one of the guys instead of a customer.
I'm blonde and I guess would be described as a typical girly girl. I like to wear makeup, do my hair, and I grew up in a city. I'll tell you what though, I can tie a fly, cast it on a fly rod, and catch a mean trout.
I can pick locks, and break into cars if I want to. I thought if I kept a break-in kit in my car, I could help others who locked themselves out. They're usually grateful, but I didn't think this through on how others look at this. I have multiple rumors at work about me now, and it's kind of funny.
Ukulele or guitar? I never flaunt it.
Pin spinning and card throwing, failing and being subpar. People seem to think I'm intelligent after talking to me, and I have no idea how people think that. I'm actually not smart at all and have motivational issues. Read between the lines, I'm just lazy lol. They're always surprised when I say I failed a class or when they find out I actually am pretty dumb.
Math. I may have dyscalculia, but I am a genius at geometry-related math. Or anything which requires 2, 3 or 4-dimensional space as its function. In other words, I may be bad at math, but I am really good at math.
I'm a pretty laid-back guy, but I'm really good with a knife, and I have a strong stomach for most unpleasant things. I've been a butcher for the better part of a decade, and these things just come over time. A lot of the people I've worked with have had the same conditioning, and we've gotten in trouble for talking in front of customers. Nothing profane or sexual, just a lot more detailed than what the average layperson wants to know.
Racist commentary.
Remembering trivia, I have some DIY skills. People are always surprised to hear I know about sanding, caring for and refurbishing wooden furniture, or stuff about siphons and hydraulics. I'm a white, small, somewhat feminine woman. But my dad passed his knowledge on.
Thank you for watching. We publish amazing Reddit stories every day. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to keep the dog smiling.